Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion. And today we need to discuss one of the major fallouts from Boruto chapter 79, which is now that everyone's gone and forgotten who Boruto Uzumaki truly is, and they think that he's the outsider who killed the beloved 7th Hokage, who saved the world on 4 separate occasions from the terrorists that are the Otsutsuki clan. Boruto is now about to be driven into exile and forced into hiding by Kawaki. The entire ninja world has forgotten who he is and thinks he's responsible for the death of his father and his mother. However, given that Sarada right now is the only person in Konoha outside of Ada and Kawaki that we know of who are actually in remembrance of who Boruto is, will this mean that Sarada has to go rogue with Boruto? Well, in today's video, we're going to look at just that, some of the foreshadowing that this could actually be the case that came from both the anime and manga and the impacts of this. So, Rogue Ninja Boruto is something I wasn't a fan of a few years ago when this was being floated out by the fandom, but I, like a lot of people, fell all the way on board with it once this new chapter dropped and we got the huge plot twist where Ada rewrote reality and the memories to make people believe that Boruto killed his own parents and was no longer Naruto's son. It was a backdoor payoff to Boruto not understanding how good he had it when he complained about his father being the Hokage, and now he's living a life like his own father did, where his parents, while they might not be dead like Naruto's parents, they're out of the picture now, and Boruto's now hated for having what can be viewed as an evil spirit inside of him, just as Kurama was viewed as a vengeful spirit by many, and he's being hunted down precisely because of what's inside of him, as the Akatsuki hunted down Naruto at one point in time. Konoha and the ninja around the world are now hunting down Boruto. Even worse, Boruto's being faced to run and hide when his enemy has one of the most overpowered characters who we've ever met in the series helping them, and it's not the cyborg brother who just stole Boruto's life, it's the other cyborg whose power to rewrite reality and memories of everyone, Ada. While this power itself is troublesome for Boruto in the time skip, he's now got the problem of Ada's visual dojutsu, which makes hiding absolutely impossible because Ada has the ability to see him anywhere he goes via her Senrigan. Using technology, Amato modified her body with and transplanted Shibai's DNA into that nanotech inside of her body so she could use Shibai's powers, from the enchantment powers to her Senrigan itself, which makes the question Boruto Part 1 is asked that much more in our faces. Can science and ninjutsu coexist in this world together like it does in our own world? And the importance of that question cannot be understated as we dive into this topic of Rogue Ninja Boruto and Sarada. They're gonna have to keep their location private, and there's only one way that they can really do so, and here's how. Just like the Naruto world has integrated technology into so much of his everyday life, the same is true for us in the real world. However, if you don't want any rogue ninjas stealing your personal information, you really need to start using a VPN like private internet access. PIA hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. This way, it protects your data from hackers and ISPs who can view your internet data. Whether you're browsing on the web at home, or you're on your phone, or you're using a public Wi-Fi at the coffee shop or at the airport, your data is at risk of being stolen by the wrong person, faster than Urashiki stole Sasuke's chakra. This means passwords, credit card info, photos, keystrokes, they can all fall into the wrong hands. So don't forget to turn on PIA VPN every time you're using the web. Another benefit to using PIA's VPN is that depending on which of the 85 countries that you set your IP address to, you'll be able to access multiple different streaming libraries on platforms like Netflix or Disney Plus, since streaming services offer different shows and movies depending on which region you're in, which is how I personally watch the Rurouni Kenshin movies since they're not all on US Netflix. For instance, the movies Rurouni Kenshin Kyoto Inferno and Rurouni Kenshin The Legend are not available on US Netflix, but if you change your location to the UK using private internet access, it will be immediately available on your Netflix. Private internet access is the most transparent VPN provider with over 30 million downloads, and their no logs policy has been proven multiple times in court, so your browsing history is safe, meaning your ISP, network admins, and others can't pry into your digital life. Also, PIA's VPN is one of the few that supports peer-to-peer sharing. You can use on all platforms from desktop to Android to iOS and so many more. Best of all, you can use one private internet access subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices at the same time. Using my link in the pinned comment in the description box, you get 83% off private internet access VPN, which is only $2.03 a month, and you'll also get another 4 months for free. Thanks again to PIA for sponsoring today's video. So in regards to Boruto and Sarada leaving the village together, I don't think we're going to see both of them leaving the village, but I do think Sarada is going to be the last one who sees Boruto before he leaves Konoha. That much is obvious. When we look at Naruto Gaiden, when Boruto was shown hiding from his father, Sarada was the one who covered for him, just as she's likely going to provide cover for him now in a game of hide and seek that has life or death repercussions to it right now. In the anime and manga, both Sarada and Hinata are shown watching movies with Boruto and Naruto that low-key mirror this same scenario that we have going on presently in the manga. Sarada and Boruto watched the movie where one party left the other one behind, and Hinata and Naruto watched the movie at home just before they were sealed away by Kawaki that had a very similar plotline. There have been a couple of Boruto and Sarada anime openings and endings where they're heavily focused, where the visuals hint at Boruto becoming a rogue ninja and the lyrics hint that Sarada is seeing something precious leave her. That being said, I do believe initially Sarada is going to want to leave with Boruto because she has a big enough heart and she isn't going to want Boruto to suffer alone through this. We've seen it before in the novels and in the anime this is the case. In one of the Boruto Academy novels, Chocho takes note of the fact that Sarada is highly attuned and sensitive to Boruto's emotions to the point where when Boruto was at a low point, Sarada's face mirrored Boruto's, even though she verbally tried to downplay it like she was annoyed with Boruto. Chocho saw through everything. In the anime, when Boruto was about to go after Mitsuki, when Mitsuki left the village, Sarada literally talks to Boruto about the exact same situation we're in now, where she says that even though he's going to be hunted down by his friends in his village, she's going to be right there at his side. She's going to want to be there for him now. However, I believe Boruto's going to be one who turns her away, and here's the reason why. Boruto's not just a wanted man. He's also someone who wants to inherit Sasuke's will and protect the village from the shadows. Shadow Hokage don't have a teammate with them. This scenario forcing him into hiding is getting him accustomed to that darkness in order to find his way. Just as Boruto's path loosely mirrors Sasuke, Sarada's in a very similar situation with Naruto. Naruto once said if he can't be Hokage, if he can't save a friend, and Sarada wanting to save Boruto is likely a plot point that comes with this, but we're missing a few things here. Sarada is already in really dangerous waters because she was already warned by Kawaki that if she tried to help Boruto, he'd kill her. She tried to stop Mitsuki from attacking Boruto and killing him, a sign that she wasn't being affected by Ada's shinjutsu, something that might come back to bite her in the future if Ada ever looks back on this scene. We also have the fact that Sarada wanting to be Hokage is a reason she won't turn away from the village during a time where it's as vulnerable as it is. She would have to trust in Boruto to find the answers from afar, just as he would if he were to be her Shadow Hokage, but her, as someone who wants to be the Hokage, has to protect the village from within. Nobody knows the truth in the village besides her. She's not abandoning the village when it's not in the state that it should be normally, and it's being manipulated by Kawaki and Ada, which brings me to the huge subplot that many people have overlooked following this chapter, which makes a ton of sense. This was a huge chapter with a huge plot twist. Shikamaru just said it a few chapters ago. If Ada were ever to be deemed a threat by the village, it's incumbent on Sarada and Sumire to stay close enough to Ada in order to take her out. Mind wiping the entire ninja world and having everyone hunt down Boruto is something that fits that criteria, but Sarada can't approach Ada just yet. She has to stay close to her and wait to see if there's a way to undo the shinjutsu Ada used before eventually trying to kill her, and despite Ada only having basic taijutsu, Sarada is still going to have to level up because all it takes is one full powered hit and she's floored. Similar to adult Sakura using her entire Byakugo seal and landing a one hit that makes Kakashi from the War Arc his whole body explode, or she hits Kisame so hard that the man turns into fish sticks. Then you have the issue of Damon being right there protecting her, and you ultimately have the problem with Kawaki. Sarada will have to train before attempting anything, which goes back to something we were taught in part 1 of Naruto, which is that kunoichi, when it comes to their training, is specialized in hiding their intentions and playing into their feminine traits, because there are certain things that kunoichi can't do that shinobi can't do on missions. At the end of the day, Ada wants both a romantic love as well as a friendship. Sarada has to play into the latter while hoping that Kawaki's reliance on Ada will be enough to satisfy satisfy her need for a romantic desire and keep her preoccupied long enough to be full. And it's worth noting that Ada said herself, she gets very bored when using her Semigon and she has a short attention span. So she's not going to watch every little detail until Kawaki tells her to look for something specific. However, we run into another problem with Sarada staying behind in the village and not going with Boruto. In every translation, I've read 4 different translations, including the Spanish version, the one that Luna did on Twitter, the official version on Viz Media's website, and the version that the good folks at OP Scans put up before the chapter even dropped. The words that I'm about to go over right now, they're pretty much the same in every translation, which are the ones who are immune to the omnipotence are usually the ones who suffer the most. I do think staying behind, likely to work with Sumire to keep their mission to deal with Ada going, is going to lead to suffering for Sarada. If she's behind in the village, she can at least protect Boruto to a degree as long as she and Sumire make everyone believe they're immune, which leads me to my next point. I definitely think Sumire is going to be immune as well. It's too much of a Chekhov's gun to introduce the two of them not being affected by Ada, being given orders to handle her if she ever became a threat, and then not to start the setup for eventually cashing in on it later on down the line, because Ada has crossed the line that would trigger the orders that Shikamaru gave to them. The only question here though is how much is Sarada about to suffer because of the fact that she's immune? Sarada trusting in Boruto and letting him go off into that danger alone, it's going to be a hard lesson that she's got to learn because she wants to be the Hokage one day. And walking the path towards Hokage, it's never going to be a straight line. Her path is going to be different than anyone else's, simply for the fact that she's aiming to be the first Uchiha who has ever been Hokage. That's a lot to overcome there because of that legacy. She's not going to be able to protect all the shinobi underneath her, even her friends, especially if they're doing something in service of the village. And because we know Uchiha feel love as strongly as they do, this is a very dangerous combination we have to take into account here, especially given Momoshiki's words. Tsunade learned that the hard way with Jiraiya, and Naruto and Naruto Gaiden learned that the hard way with Sasuke, even though Sasuke didn't die. Sasuke flat out tells Naruto and Sakura and the Kages that he can't allow Naruto to join him on missions in the Otsutsuki dimension when he was looking for information on Kaguya, because Naruto's Hokage need to be left behind in the village where he was needed the most. I think we're really about to be eating good here when it's all said and done though. The big question though is, again, how much is Sarada about to suffer if she stays behind and tries to hide her intentions? However, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Do you think Boruto is going to be joined by Sarada and go rogue, or will Sarada stay behind in the village in order to take down Ada and potentially try to reverse what Ada's done?